Welcome to the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. Here, we believe leadership isn't just about titles. It's about how you show up in every aspect of life. Whether you're leading a business, building a legacy as an entrepreneur, guiding your family, or striving to lead yourself first, this podcast is for you. Join us as we dive into real conversations about growth, decision-making, and the courage it takes to lead with purpose. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and equipped to become the limitless leader you are meant to be. This is your Limitless Leadership Podcast. Let's lead without limits.
Welcome to your Limitless Leadership Podcast. I am your co-host, Jenny Widman, along with the co-host, Brent Widman. Thank you for joining us today. We have a special treat today. I'd like to introduce Brent's fitness journey to you all because it is one that I didn't expect to hear after meeting him, and it's inspiring. You know, Brent, he's someone that you look at, and he would never say this to anyone, but he's just someone that you look at and you just think it comes easy to him. You know, he's someone that has a 12 pack. He is extremely in shape. He has a great body structure and all the things. But the one thing that you wouldn't expect is what he used to look like and what it took and the pain that he went through to get where he is today. So, Brent, I wanted to bring you on here just to help educate, help enlighten, but also just help provide some clarity into the choices that you make on an everyday life gets you where, gets you your healthiest, gets you where you are today. So, if you could just start us off and tell us, your background. What did you look like 20 years ago? How overweight were you? What triggered this journey that you went on?
I'm going to go back even further than that because it was like the start and stop thing, like so many do. I had graduated, I'm going to go back to when I graduated high school, and I was 18, and I didn't work out after at all. Like I was not healthy. As a 18, maybe 19-year-old kid, I drank a lot. I ate a lot of fast food. I ate a lot of chips. I just ate a lot of stuff, and I started to gain weight and floundering through life as well. And the reason I tell you that is because I will come back to this and talk about how fitness and what have you also helps what you do with your personal life and your professional life as well. And I ended up after my first year at college where I had a 1.1 GPA at Worthington Community College. Yeah, it was. I would go to school and I would play ping pong, or I'd go bowling, or I'd go to the arcade. But I thought I have to change something. So I ended up going to the Army National Guard and I went to basic training. And the biggest reason I went to basic training is because I wanted to get back in shape. In high school, I was always football, baseball, basketball, track. So I always played sports. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But after I started gaining weight, I think back at that time, I probably hovered around. I never really stepped on a scale because I didn't know what that meant. Everybody that I surrounded myself with, nobody was in shape. There was not one person after high school that I knew that lifted weights and ran and was in shape. So that goes back to you're the product of who you surround yourself with. So I did that. Fast forward to kind of what you're talking about. And this is where, again, I went to cop school and that didn't work out. So I was in shape there, but I had gotten a little bigger there too by the time I ended. Because your first year, you're running and you're lifting and you're doing all the stuff. The second year, you're just going to class and you do have some running and lifting, but not a whole lot. So I had gained, and I'm eating a lot of donuts, classical cop school, and I gained 30 pounds again. So I did it all over again. And if this story says a lot about what because I think people don't know what you don't know. We just do this roller coaster ride. And I moved down to Mankato, and I did it again. I was drinking a lot. I was eating late at night after the bar and pizza and all this stuff because that's all I knew. That's what everybody else did. I didn't know what eating healthy looked like. And I was bartending at a place in Mankato. And this is where the journey really started. Is we were sitting, not I was standing behind the bar, and it was kind of a horseshoe bar to paint the picture a little bit. And he was sitting at the bar, really small bar, really clean, really nice place. And his name's Jared Sunday, and we just started talking about working out because MTV Spring Break was on TV, is what was going on. Yeah. So this is probably 99,
Yes,
2000.
yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it was a while ago, just so everybody knows. I'm 49. And I just thought about, like, I want to look like that. I want to have a body like that, is whatever as that sounds, take it for what you will. But I did not look like that at the time. I was about I hover around now about 185, 180 to 185, and I was right around 215 at that time. So I had the beer belly, and everybody talks about, that's where you're supposed to look when you get older and you're just filling out and all this stuff. So it became normal. And sitting there talking to Jared, we were talking about working out. And Jared's a male nurse who was at the clinic in Mankato. And his shift always started at 4. So he said, you can come with me. I go every day at 12:30, 12:30. And this was I worked every Monday. So this was a Monday night. And then I would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but this was a Monday night. And I said, okay, I'll be there. I didn't know the guy that well. He wasn't a friend. He wasn't somebody that I had talked to a lot in the past. He was just kind of an acquaintance that came in from time to time, but he was in shape. And I showed up at 12:30 that next day. I got up about noon. I had my bowl of cereal and I rolled out of bed and went to the gym and joined the gym and all this stuff. And from there, it did not happen overnight, but I had somebody to go with. I had somebody that taught me how to do things. I had somebody that was there when I didn't want to go, that was always there. I didn't want to let him down. And the cool part about it is, as people started to see changes in me, because I would have people talk about it, and that's part I'll talk about that as well. It becomes your identity and who you are and all these different things. My friends would start to come. And there was friends that stuck. So at one time, we had about 12 people that showed up every day at 12:30 to lift weights and work out. But there was always like 3 or 4 of us, like me, Jared, Jeremy, and then there was another guy that would always, like, we were like clockwork because we all got up together. Nate Wilson, he ended up being an actor out in California, would show up every day. And it was kind of cool to see people come and go, the people just like life now, the people that come and go and the people that do it, the people that make excuses and all these different things. But that's where my journey really started, was just that conversation, that small conversation for about 2 minutes that he said, you can come with me if you want to. And that's where everything began. And I can go from there, but yeah.
I love how simple that is too, because at the end of the day, it was someone that was accountability for you. It was someone that had been doing it, that knew what to do, so you didn't feel stupid
No,
or not know what, exercises to work on, you know, uh, what to do in general. And so it's like, anybody that's listening to this, step number one is just find somebody that either knows more than you, or if that is someone, just be that Jared to someone else and say, hey, if you want to come with me, I go every day at 1, come with me. I love how simple you made that.
we
Uh,
had,
mhm.
I'll tell this a little bit too. We had chest day. So he taught me how to do chest. We had back day. He taught me how to do back. We had leg day. He taught me how to do legs. We
Wow,
had,
legs and legs.
yeah. I used to squat 500 pounds, Widman.
Oh,
We had arms day. So we had that. We had shoulder day. So we had our different days, but it was the combination of him teaching me how to do all these things. And then eventually, I'll tell this too, I started running. And I didn't go out and run 20 miles. I had a pair of cross training shoes. So they weren't running shoes. They were just everyday, whatever, gym shoes, blah, blah, blah. And I ran a mile. That's it. The first time I ever ran, I went out and jogged a mile, and that was it. And then from there, I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And people would see it and they would make comments of, hey, I saw you running, or hey, have you lost weight, or you're looking way better. And you know what I'm talking about. That starts to motivate you and drive you. It becomes who you are. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, that there's things there that start to happen because you make the decision to do it, but none of us can do it alone either.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, and then lead into, I don't know where Jared fits in and where your eating habits
Mm,
started kicking in, but I know that there was a huge shift there. So talk to me about, there's a Clark and there's a Jared in your life. Talk to me
yeah.
about the Clark journey.
The eating habits started to change a little bit when I started to work out. Because Jared was a nurse, he would talk to me about eating. Now, believe me, I was not eating. I was in college at this time, so I wasn't eating very good. But for lunch, I would still do what I did now. I didn't know. I made chicken because it was easy. I'd make it on the grill and I would eat it. Yeah, that's. Oh, but I'd still eat macaroni and cheese or pizza or whatever else. But the majority of my days, probably 3, 4 days a week, I was eating chicken. But then I worked at a bar that served food too. So I'd have, like chicken and steak. I always ate a lot of that, I guess, put it that way, because I liked that. I didn't think it would help me. I mean, to be straight up front, I was drinking probably 5, 6 days a week too, because we were in college, going out, hanging out, bartending, all the stuff. So you're looking at 1,000 to 2,000 empty calories on a given night,
Hmm.
which is the 2 hour workouts really helped that. But eventually you get to a point where it goes after itself. It wasn't until, man, it's been about 15 years ago now. So probably 2010. After all that stuff and all those things, I really enjoy running. Like, running is my peace. I know people say, well, I only run when people chase me, which is just a lame excuse for people not to start or try. I really enjoy it because I get to go out, and some days are better than others. Some days are trudging through quicksand. Some days are hard. Some days are easy. Some days I don't want to get up. So everything that you go through, that you make the excuses to do, I get up and do it because I've trained myself to know that you're going to have those days. I think you talked about this once, Jenny. You're going to have the days that a third of them are awesome. Like, you are going to float. Like if you get new shoes, remember, the days you get new shoes and you're like floating on clouds and it's awesome. And then you're going to have a third that's like, all right, I'm just going to do this today. We're going to get through it. It's going to be good. I'll feel better when I get done. And then you have the days that your ankles hurt and your knees hurt and your stomach sucks and all these different things. But I got accustomed to doing it. And to answer your question, this one's hard because it started throwing my whole life off. I couldn't go out for a run without knowing where the bathroom was. I had to plan my routes around a gas station. I had to go drive around to see where outhouses or biffies or whatever they're called are, because I knew that I mean, I was training for a marathon and I pooped myself. Now, I'm probably not the only one to ever do that, but this was a regular occurrence that I would have to go to the bathroom so bad. And the next thing that started happening, I don't tell this story a whole lot. Jenny gave me permission to tell it. I started seeing blood in my stool, in my poop. And it was the bright blood. So it wasn't like I was told if it's dark, it's bad, because I asked 1 or 2 people, because it's embarrassing. It's like, it's not something you want to talk about, but If you see blood in your poop, but believe me, it will throw off your whole day.
Mhm.
And this was a regular occurrence literally every day. And I was told to take a colonoscopy. So I went to the doctor finally, and I'm not a doctor guy. I rarely go to the doctor. And they said, you got to take a colonoscopy. So plan the colonoscopy. And mind you, I don't think you have to take them until you're like 45 or 50 is what it is when you're a dude or what have you. And they went in because you got to drink all the stuff and it cleans you out and all the things. And they didn't find anything. They didn't find anything at all. They didn't find polyps. They didn't find anything wrong with me. They didn't find nothing. So they sent me home. This is what it is. They gave me they sent me a printout of my results. Nobody called me. Nobody talked to me. Nobody said anything. No doctor reached out. No nothing. So here I am just on this island by myself thinking I'm going to have to live like this forever. So what I would have to do is I would get up early and I would have to starve myself so I could go for a run because I couldn't eat before I went. Or there was times that I would have to run as fast. I had a game I would play to run 4 miles because that's kind of my base minimum, as fast as humanly possible, because if I was running really, really fast and almost sprinting, that I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. Well, that didn't last forever either. That kind of caught up with me. Every time I ran, and I'm talking every single time I ran at mile 2 or 3, whether I was on the treadmill, like I couldn't run outside. There were years that I couldn't run outside and I couldn't run. I'd have to do the elliptical. Man, thinking about all this, I would have to do the elliptical because I couldn't run. And it was killing me. And about 6 months after I took that colonoscopy, I was here in Plymouth. And the GI doctor is right across the street from Lifetime Fitness, where I went quite a bit. And I went to the gastro to try and see what was wrong with me again, because it kept happening. And my life was just, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you got to take another colonoscopy. And verbatim, this is what I said to the lady. So I'm going to say it. I said, that's not going to fucking happen. Take the results that I just had, look at the damn results, and figure out what the hell is wrong with me. No, you got to take another one. It's been over 6 months. And I'm like, fuck that, is what I said. Because it's not fun to take a colonoscopy. And at this point, it wasn't about me being mad at her and about the colonoscopy. I was mad at it. It was it. I couldn't live the life I wanted to live. I couldn't run. I couldn't have my peace. And I walked out of there and I sat in my car and I cried. And I bawled my eyes out thinking, this is the way I'm going to have to live the rest of my life. And what I did most of the time, if I wasn't feeling good or felt down or things weren't going the way I want, I went and worked out. I couldn't run, so I lifted weights. And when I walked in, my friend Clark, this is where Clark comes from. Clark Leader is personal trainer at Lifetime. He runs his own business now. And I told him the story. And he says, I can fix that for you. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I got to a point after I went to the doctor the first time that there was 2 ways to help it. Oh, this is going to get... There was 2 ways to help it. I could either take a pill that was $250 a pill that insurance would not cover, or I could shoot some stuff up my butt. Guess what I chose because it was cheaper. I would have to sleep on my side because you have to take it at night so it wouldn't come out. And it was supposed to help my stomach. Didn't help. Did that for a couple months. Didn't help. So I'm telling Clark this story. Clark goes, I can fix that for you. And I'm like, whatever. You're not a doctor. He goes, I want you to go to the Lifetime in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Or Eden Prairie, sorry. And I want you to take a blood test. And at this point, I'll pretty much do anything. I would have cut off my right arm if he would have told me, well, you got to cut your right off. And I did it. and I got this printout, and he went over it with me. He sat down and he went over it. Well, the nutritionist went over it with me first, and I didn't really understand because it was like, you can eat something one day, you can eat this every few days, and I'll explain this in a second. And then this, never. You just wipe it out of your diet. And what I didn't realize is, one, I was lactose intolerant. And at this time, mind you, I was drinking a gallon to 2 gallons of milk a week. It was going on my cereal. I was eating pizza. I was eating, things like macaroni and cheese. I was pretty broke, so I just ate whatever. I didn't have any money at that time. And this is one of those things that you don't believe because you're always taught that doctors are doctors. And I'm not here to knock the health profession by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But I had tried those things and it wasn't working for me. Everybody's body is different. And that's what I came to realize, that just because something works for somebody else doesn't mean it works for me, or just because somebody eats something doesn't mean that's what I can eat. So I had to wipe out milk. And for any of you that like cheese and all the stuff, that's milk. And I was eating a lot of it. And I had to wipe out things like eggs. I could eat eggs every 4 or 5 days, but I can't eat eggs every day. I can't do it. My body says no. Baker's yeast. So bread, anything that's in bread, anything that's in cookies, anything that's in anything like that, I can't eat that. I have to wipe that out. Now I'll eat it because it's not going to kill me, but I know I'm going to pay for it if I do it. That's not right with my body. And I've tried to tell people when they tell me these types of stories, because we talk about fitness and all this stuff. And even like my mom, she wouldn't, like, I don't want to say she wouldn't listen because I wasn't trying to drive it home, but she kind of had the same problems. But in her world, the doctor solves all issues by taking pills and making it right. So they masked it for her. And she still goes through a lot of this stuff. And I've asked her 3, 4 times to take an allergen test, and I talked to her about it, and it's still the pushback of no, no, no. And I probably wouldn't have believed it myself like I didn't with Clark. I go back to that, and Clark, that conversation that day and that moment for that 3 minutes changed the course of my whole life. And I know that's a big statement, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer had to live with, can I go for a walk? Like, I wouldn't have been able to go for walks with you.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. I wouldn't know. And that changed my diet too. So when you talk about diet, I know you got into that, but that's kind of the evolution of how things started to happen and the changes I started to make, I guess, put it that way. So, yeah.
I know it's crazy. I mean, one thing that my coach always tells me is, once you know something, you can't unknow it. And so it's just, you were living in this ignorance.
Oh,
You just didn't know.
yeah.
And now that you know, you can adjust accordingly. But I remember when I first met you, I was like, okay, this guy just eats oatmeal every morning and chicken every lunch. Like, this is just, he must be so disciplined. He just eats that every single day. And then come to find out, you do that because those two things never cause you any pain.
Mhm.
And you'd
Nope.
rather just be fine until dinner. And it's just interesting. I wanted you to talk about it because I feel like there are people out there that just haven't gotten that allergy test, or haven't really understood their own body, of what serves them, what doesn't serve them, and like how cheese can affect you that way and cheese can affect me completely different. It's just, every single body is different.
There
Uh,
were times,
mhm,
as you say that, there were times that I would go, there were days, weeks, months that I would not eat all day because my stomach would hurt so bad that I knew that if I ate, I would have to live in this, like, uncomfortableness and uneasiness and yuckness and that kind of thing. It was brutal. It was
mhm.
brutal. So, yeah. Yeah. Ask for
No,
help.
I want to go back to one thing that you said because you just literally bypassed it like it was nothing. But you said, I'll go out and run 4 miles because that's my bare minimum. You know, for someone else, 4 miles is a long ways. I mean, that
Mhm.
could be technically 40 minutes of straight running, at 10-minute pace miles. I want to understand I want you to talk about why 4 miles is your like a bare minimum. Like how did your mentality with your workouts shape who you are today? Like how did that happen?
So if you go back to college when I started working out, like I said, I started at a mile and then I went to 2 miles and 3 miles and 4 miles and five. It used to be where 6 miles was my bare minimum because it took me about an hour. That's why I kept it at six. I would go lift weights. I would lift weights 5 days a week. I would run 6 miles 7 days a week. And that was my bare minimum. So I would work out for about 2 to 2.5 hours. Yep. Yep. Because I had nothing else to do. I was in college. Didn't matter.
Before kids. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, um,
That's funny.
and then I realized as I started eating better and not drinking and being healthier that I didn't need to do as much. I can be in really good health and I don't need to work out for 2 to 2.5 hours a day. And that was really hard for me to cut that down. Like to go from 6 miles to 4 miles, that was hard for me. Like the mental battle that I fought with myself of I'm not doing anything if I'm not running 6 miles is the same mental battle I do with 4 miles now.
Mhm.
But the reason I keep it at 4 miles now is because I can get up at 5 o'clock. In the winter, I can be out the door by about 5:15. Okay. I can be back in the door by 6 o'clock or 6:05, which still gives me time to eat my oatmeal. And I'll tell you my diet in a second, answer emails, breakfast, all this type of stuff. But to set my day up to be successful, that's why I do 4 miles. That's really the only reason. Um, and I feel like if I do 4 miles, people are more apt to come with me, like you, right? If I said I was going to do 6 miles, you'd be like, nah, yeah, maybe tomorrow. That 2 miles is a little different. Um, that's part of what changed, is really what it is. And I realized I can lift weights certain days a week and I can run the other days of the week. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing anymore. It was really hard to change that mentality, though.
Mm.
It really was. That is the only reason that I keep it at 4 miles because that's my time too.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of Brent time, just like you don't get a lot of Jenny time. Um, but it's my time just to listen, to think and listen to music. Like the music's on in the background, but my mind is constantly going about all the things I want to do, need to do, should do, can do, things I can do with you, things I can do with the kids, things I can do with the family, places we can go, I mean, I could go on running business. I mean, just constant. And if I didn't have that 40 or so minutes in the morning,
Mhm.
that'd be a basket case probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted you to talk about that because you broke my belief barriers. Like I used to think a 2 mile run was a good workout for the day, 20 minutes, good workout, I'm back in. And then when you were like, that is not a workout, it broke my belief barriers and what a workout was. And don't get me wrong, if someone's listening to this and you go for 2 miles, go
Agreed.
for it. I mean, you got to
Good
start
for you.
there and good.
Yep.
But just for my own personal health journey, that changed and it helped me for the better in general. But yeah, go to your nutrition because, some people might look at you as, oh, he's just too disciplined, and all that type of stuff. But you have to do it or you're in a lot of pain. So talk to us about how you eat and what you eat. And I guess another question I'd be wondering, for dinner, you eat what we eat. You don't make me do too much different. So, What's your take on nutrition and what you eat?
So there is my nutrition does go with discipline too as well, because I lived in a world for a long time, and I know a lot of people like my brother, and not to knock it, but he has some stomach issues as well because we come from the same
Here.
cloth. Oh, yeah. Um, but he won't change his diet. He just lives with it. And I've talked to him about that. So changing the fact that I don't drink a whole lot of milk. If I'm going to drink milk, it's probably like Fairlife or something that's lactose free. My diet every day for 99% of my days is I have oatmeal with grapes in it because I have a sweet tooth. That's the only reason I put grapes in it, or strawberries or blueberries or what have you. But I've come to find out grapes are probably the easiest because you
Green.
can buy green grapes because you can buy a lot of them and you can cut them up and they go a long ways. So it's the frugal part of me as well. Um, I used to eat a lot of cereal, a lot of cereal. That's all I ever ate. That's what I grew up on. I will drink a protein shake that is also it's not whey, it's protein, or it's plant-based protein. I know if I have whey, it's going to throw my stomach off, or soy. Um, I eat a banana at 8 o'clock, 8:05 every morning. I have another banana at 10 o'clock every single morning because bananas don't hurt my stomach. And obviously, I feel like there's a part of it that I've never had a cramp, so bananas must help me on that side. For the most part, I eat chicken and vegetables, or chicken and rice, or chicken and whatever every single day for lunch. I just heat it up, and I don't care if it's plain. I don't care if there's some barbecue sauce on it. I just eat it. It's fuel for the machine, really, is kind of the way I look at it. I don't need to eat fast food and all this kind of crap that's just not good for you, because it makes you feel sluggish and crappy. And I didn't know that till I went through it. And then I'll have another banana at like 3 in the afternoon. It's my afternoon snack. And then at 5 or 5:15, we always have whatever you make, usually. I mean, like I've told you 1,000 times, I will eat whatever you put in front of me and I will not complain about it. Because if somebody else is cooking for me, I don't care. I will eat it. But more often than not, especially now, it's usually pretty healthy. It's relatively, it's better than probably 95, 99% of the population is eating anyway. And I can feel good in that. Are there times that I cheat? Yes. There's times I'll have cookies. Like I said the other day, I pile drive a lot of animal crackers. Dairy Queen every once in a while. I have a rule that I do not eat sweets until 5 o'clock or after 5 o'clock. I won't do it. I will not eat a cookie. I will not eat something that's bad for me until after 5 o'clock, because in my little mind, it's like my stomach will only hurt for a little while and then I'll go to bed and it'll reset itself overnight. And that's why, because I know I'm going to pay for it when I do it, really is what it comes down to. I had cake because it was my son's birthday this weekend, or our son.
Whose son?
Our son.
Mm.
I had cake. So there's times that I will. So I don't want this to be what I'm trying to tell you here. There's a happy medium in here. There is. You still have to live life, but I also know I'm going to pay for it. And I've hovered around my 175 to 185 pounds for literally 20 to 25 years of my life now, easily. I used to wear pants that were 2 sizes, 3 sizes too big for me, because I thought, what happens when I get fat? I wear the same suits I bought, this might sound funny, 10 years ago. I
Mhm.
wear some of the same pants and clothes and shirts and all this stuff that I bought years ago because it all fits the same. I because I because it's important.
Mhm.
I don't know how else to say it. It's not about looking great. Yeah, that's part of it. But it's who I am. It's the discipline that goes into every facet of my life.
Mhm.
And I feel like if you look like ass and you treat your body like crap, that's going to factor into every other facet of your life.
Mhm.
And I simply will not live like that. I just won't. It's that easy. I don't know.
No, I love that. And going through a journey myself, it's like you just show up better. You show up for your loved ones. You show up for your clients, your people, your friends, your neighbors. Most importantly, you show up for yourself
Yep.
the best. And it all starts with how we are treating ourselves, how we are treating our body in general. But I like that you just said that at the end too, because even though every single breakfast it's oatmeal, every single lunch it's chicken and vegetables or chicken and rice, but for dinner, I do make cheeseburgers. I just don't put cheese on your burger, right? I do make um, French
Sure.
toast. I just use Ezekiel bread instead of sourdough for myself, right? Like you still eat everything that we eat for the most part, and you can treat yourself in moderation. And one of your things that you do that I used to do all the time is I love pizza weekly, and ever since dating you, it's like our rule of thumb is 2 times a month. So that's
Yeah.
something I've cut back on, but for the most part, it's you're
Well, we went out for pizza. Okay, there's an example. We went out for pizza the other night with family,
Mhm.
and we ordered 3 pizzas, and then there was cheese bread and cheese balls or cheese curds.
Mhm.
I don't eat cheese bread. I don't eat cheese curds. It's not because I know I'm gonna eat pizza. I know that's has milk in it, but I simply don't need it. There's no part of that that I need. And I think that's the discipline factor too, that I can sit there and I can have a banana before we go because I know we're probably gonna order a lot of that stuff that I just don't care to eat. And I wanted to say that because that's just a choice. It's a habit that is created over time. And it's not that it's always perfect either. So I want people to know that too, that if we did that and I have 1 cheese ball, it's different than having 10, right? It just is. It's like that's the very definition of moderation.
Mhm.
And that is okay. So you get the taste of it. You just don't need a whole bunch of it. Like I had cake on Saturday, but I didn't have it yesterday and I won't have it today. So I had it the day because I got it out of my system. I don't know.
Yeah,
That helps. I just want people to know that it's not an all or nothing. It's just something, you know? Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for talking about it and being vulnerable and telling us some of your stories from the past, which are disgusting. Appreciate that. But any last
It-
words? Any last piece of advice from listeners out there?
What I wish, and I've said this in the past, I wish I could eradicate unhealthiness. I wish that people would reach out to Brent Widman or Jenny Widman or whoever your Clark Leaders is or your Jared Sunday, and you would ask them for help. I wish that you would put your ego away because that's really what it is when you don't want to ask for help. We don't want to look stupid. That's what I mean by ego. And just ask. When you do that, it will change your world. I look back at pictures of Jenny, who has lost 53 pounds now ish over the course of the last 9 months, 10 months. And I look at the videos you took when you started and the struggle that it was hard in the first month. But you get past that first month and you will change your life. And I wish I could eradicate people saying, that's not for me. I only run when I'm chased. I don't lift weights. I can't do that. That you can always do something. You can always, I don't care how tired you are. I've gotten up at, I'll get up Thursday because our flight leaves at 7:55 at 3:30 in the morning to go run. Don't tell me you can't. And that's the world I live in. And that's what I want to leave you with is stop telling me, because when you tell me you can't, you're telling yourself you can't. And that is crap. That is crap. You have the ability.
I love it. I love when your fieriness comes out. But that's coming from someone that has not taken a day off of working out since January 1st of 2024. So going on 2 years now. And he's man of discipline. So thank you so much. And thank you for listening out there. Have a good one.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about leadership, not just in your career, but in every part of your life. Remember, leadership starts with leading yourself first. It's about taking action, making bold decisions, and showing up with purpose. Now, it's time to take what you've heard today and put it into practice. Whether it's in your business, your community, your family, or your own personal growth, start leading without limits. You have the power to become the leader you're meant to be. Until next time, keep pushing your boundaries and leading with purpose.